So one of the questions that I get asked the most is, am I going to need a LifePro 4 charger if I get a lithium battery? Can I use a standard lead acid battery? Contrary to what you may have been told, the answer is yes, absolutely. There's only a couple of variations in between a lead acid charger and a lithium charger, and we are going to demonstrate that today. So I don't know what really this is. I just found this charger through to the side at some point. It's a standard lead acid battery charger. It is not a lithium charger. And I also have one of the 30 amp, or sorry, one of the 10 amp lithium smart chargers that we sell at glowevoltage.com. So what I am going to do exactly is I'm going to drain a small bank of 12 volt batteries. Actually, I have it right here. It is a Lithium 8.5 amp hour bank. I do have it discharged, and we're going to be able to watch it on this monitor with each of these types of chargers hooked up, and I'm going to be able to graph this out so we can actually get a visual representation of the data. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to go ahead and get this charger hooked up and get a better view on the battery bank and the voltage in the charger. Okay, so over here I have my drained Lithium. They are under 11 volts, set up in 4S1P, so it is 12.8 nominal, generally rests at about 13.3 if it is full. And then I have the lead acid charger that has ordinary, AGM, and repair mode. And it's going to guess the state of charge, but again, this is not meant for lithium batteries. So we will see how this reacts. And right here you can see the battery's voltage itself. I will move this up here a bit. And we'll be able to see the charge current as well as discharge and the current voltage and the capacity. I have it set to 8.5, so we will see right now it's showing 0.035 amp hours left. So I'm going to get this plugged in. We're just going to leave this on ordinary mode and see what it does. And what I'm hooking this up to, I'm hooking the positive up to this distribution block right here. And the ground, in case you're wondering where I'm putting it, is on the other side of that shunt. That's what's actually monitoring all of the current, and my inverters are down there, and that's what draws the actual load that we'll use when I'm draining the battery after we charge it. But for right now, we'll be able to see the charge current and see if it does anything it's not supposed to. Okay, so you can see immediately we have jumped up to 7 amps of charging. This is saying 11.7 volts, 11.7 amps, and 1% charged. You see it's still charging up at about 7 amps. What's interesting is this cheap charger says it's charging at 11.5, but we are reading it at 7.2. So this is still shown as 11.3 amps. This is showing as 7, so I went and got a clamp meter. And we're going to find out. And it is showing, as you can see, it's 7.3. .4. So yeah, what it says it's putting out is definitely not true. Go ahead and continue to rely on this meter. Okay, actually looking here, it looks like it's saying 1% and charging at 10.8 amps when we're really charging closer to a little bit under 7 amps, but we are approaching 13 volts. The voltage of the charger is up to 13.5 and our battery is at 12.97 now. Okay, so quick note. The cells, since we're using this unapproved charger, this lead acid charger, cells are nice and cool. So let me see if I can focus on this. The highest temperature I'm seeing on the cells is 75.2. Now, the charger's kind of hot, but not too hot. I mean, it's like 92. But I mean, using this to charge the cells, and the cells are definitely not overheating. So again, I mean, I'm not sure why people insist on telling other people they can't do this, with one catch, and we'll discuss that when this is done. checking on everything with the thermal cam. See, the hottest spot on the battery is 79. Charger's about 90 degrees. Display screen 87. So no unnecessary heat from using this charger. The lead acid charger is now charging at 14 volts. But the battery, we are reading 13.56, still charging at about 6.6 amps, with the battery charger saying it's charging at 10.6. Okay, so we're at 65% now. On the capacity, we have 5.59. We're still charging about 6.4 amps. The heat is good all around. This says we're charging at 10.2 still. It's been off the entire time, but it's actually charging at 14.3 volts now, and our battery is reading 13.86 volts. Okay, we are 13.87 at the battery, and let's see if I can get the percent charged in focus. Okay, so we are at 66%. And still moving along. Okay, so now we are up to 14.28. We've recharged 6.2 amp hours of the battery. And we're sitting at 14.3 at the battery, and the charger is at 14.4, so charging is slowed way down. It says 2.7 and it's actually 2.2, so it's much closer now than it has been. We'll let it keep going. Okay, so you can see now we are at 0.2 amps, so it is barely charging the battery now. We have 6.327 amp hours charged, so maybe the capacity of the cell is bad, but generally, I mean, this cell's sitting at 14.4 volts now, so, or sorry, the culmination of the 4 cells, so that's, pretty charged, so we'd set that to 100% and just watch. But okay, so to what I was saying about, with one caveat, that you can use a lead acid battery to charge your light before, and that is, once it gets to this point, you take it off the charger. So lead acid batteries at this point become trickle chargers and basically battery maintainers. So they will continue providing a very small amount of current to hold the battery at a higher voltage. So, like right now, you're, 0.1 amp, just very slowly at 14.4 volts. So it would take a long time to actually get full, assuming that we were missing that capacity, which I think we actually are full capacity now. But and it's not going to hurt it for a couple hours. I mean, it's like if you're driving your car, your battery can be full for a while. They just don't like being held in this state of charge, so don't leave it, don't leave it for a week on this charge. So again, I wouldn't necessarily leave these overnight. I don't really recommend charging batteries unattended to begin with. So that said, once it's done, just take it off. And it's done. So now we have our battery sitting at 14.2 volts. No current in or out. I will reset this to 100 and then discharge it, actually capacity check it. But what we're going to be watching is the curve here and how this charger acted, and then we're going to compare it to how a lithium battery acts. Okay, so you can see here, I'm taking it down to right at about 0. That way the battery will start off in the same state of charge that it was in. That is a low voltage running from my inverter, but it is almost there, and then we will hook up the LiFePro 4 charger. Yeah, this isn't anything fancy. This is an inexpensive one that we sell on our website, glowevoltage.com. Actually, the instructions on this said to hook up the power and ground first, and then plug it in. So, power. And now we will plug it in. I'm going to leave it go for a bit and come back when it's a little more charged. Okay, so we're at about 13% charged now. And the charger says 9.9 amps, but the shunt says closer to 8 amps charging. Okay, we are at 23%. Charging at 7.8 amps. And we're at about 2 amp hours. I think we were at, what, 6 point something before. I'll go back in the video and check, but 23% of the expected 8.5 anyways, so one of the things that's interesting about this is it's showing the overall voltage, not necessarily the voltage that the unit is charging at, because this is matching the battery voltage. Okay, we're now showing 34% on the battery, 13.11 volts, still charging at about 7.7 amps. Okay, so it's showing at 51% now. We have 4.4 amp hours recharged back into the battery. Charger still says 9.6 amps, but the shunt is still showing 7.6. And we are 13.5 volts. Let it keep going and see how it plays out. Okay, so I'm showing 62% now, still charging at about 7.5 amps, and the battery right now is sitting at 13.65. We have recharged 5.3 amp hours. Okay, so we are now at 13.77 volts, still charging at 7.5 amps, and about to cross 6 amp hours charged since we started. LifePro 4 charger still says it's going 9.5 amps, but I'm noticing the voltage is starting to increase a bit faster, which is typical of a lithium battery when it's getting full. So you can see it's starting to climb faster and faster, and soon this will be in the 14s, and the charging will slow down from the charger, because once we've hit once the difference between the charger's max set voltage and our battery's voltage decreases, it's just Ohm's law. The current will slow down. So a lot of the amperage that can flow is based on the difference in voltage as well as the resistance between the devices. So as the voltage gets closer, current is forced to slow down. And that's kind of one of the concepts of CCCV as well, if you are familiar with that. And you can see how quickly it's going up. After having a slow climb through the 13s, right at the end it's going to jump up. Okay, we are up to 14.14. It's going up pretty quick, 14.16. And notice we're down to 5 amps charging speed. 5.4 amps on the charger. It's starting to line up again. And now we're down to 2.6 amps on the LifePro 4 charger. 2.3. that's not if you don't know what that is I have other batteries charging right now. And that is my 60 amp charger down there, top balancing those. .2 amps, one. So we're still falling. Oh, and now see the LiFePO4 charger. This is the difference. It now detects that the battery is full. The LiFePO4 charger cuts off, and no current continues to flow. With the lead acid battery, it'll keep that 0.1 amp and make sure that it stays. But you can see, the LiFePO4 battery will slowly fall to its resting voltage. It'll do it quicker since there's a monitor hooked up that's drawing from it, but they can hold pretty close to 14 volts if there's absolutely no load, so open circuit. But if it's hooked up to your car, there's always a little bit of ambient draw, so it will, over the course of maybe 1 or 2 days, slowly drop down to 13.35 or so is pretty typical. So right there, that is the biggest difference in lithium and lead acid battery chargers. So as long as you're paying attention, can you use your lead acid battery charger to charge up your lithium iron phosphate bank? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Just don't leave it unattended, and when it's done, take it off the charger. Even when it's close to done, take it off the charger. So if you have any questions, just let me know, guys, and I hope this video helps.